So I'm open to questions.
So our first question is, Esquire magazine called your memoir one of the best explorations into the black male psyche. Do you believe that there is a collective black male psyche that can be spoken for, and was that one of the purposes of writing your memoir?
I guess I'll deal with the second one first. The reason why I wrote the memoir was not so much about anything dealing with blackness, even though that's within the story. My primary purpose, really two. One, I wanted to say something about love. I felt I had come to a discovery about what love is. And secondly, I had a long-standing question about whether this great mystery that we call God actually exists. And so I felt I made the discovery about that, and I wanted to kind of document it. So those are the two primary reasons that compelled me to write my memoir. In terms of the black psyche, anything dealing with race, I come to understand in my later years is a creation of thought that in essence blackness is something that human beings created, and so it only exists to the extent that we give it credibility, whiteness and blackness. So there is a collective psyche based on the experience of black people through slavery, et cetera, but at bottom we're all human. And I hope that through our experience as so-called black people, that we can help teach everyone else that at bottom we're human. It is really only one race and we're all the time.
So our second question is that you said in the closing line of your memoir that anything worth having is that which is permanent. Everything else is secondary. How do you establish what things in life will become permanent?
Well, the first and most important thing is that anything has to be established or to become permanent is not permanent. That which is permanent is that which exists always. It simply is. Anything else, if it has to come to be, then eventually it's going to fade away. And so when I talk about permanency, again, I'm speaking of, generally people would say God. Some people say the first mover, in philosophy they call it the first mover, but that which simply is, that which is the creation of everything. And so that was important to me because we get busy with life, the day-to-day, making money, going to school to get an education, and why are we here? So in my book, I wanted to deal with really big questions like, why do we have life? What's the fundamental purpose? And what I discovered, ironically, the purpose of life is for us to find out who we already are. And that answer is not something that we can really hang a hat on. Like, it's not something that is physical. That which is permanent is that which we can't necessarily see, but yet it still is real. So it's that great mystery that we've given it so many names. But our fundamental purpose is to come back to that.
I have a quick question regarding the purpose of your memoir. You see, one of the purposes was to see whether or not God does exist, right?
It's to document my discovery.
Yeah. So what actually led to your discovery of its existence?
It's a great question. It started in the second grade when I went to Catholic school, and they taught about immaculate conception and living forever. And I'm in school and I'm thinking about this. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. So I let all the other students leave, and I go to the teacher, and this is documented in my memoir, and say, I don't understand. I need you to explain this to me. And she said, you just have to believe. But I couldn't. And the reason why, the thing that tripped me up is that the idea of belief, and that, you feels comfortable that, okay, I'm going to die. That's a scary thing. But if you believe, if you're good, you get to go to heaven, you feel comforted by that thought that there's a place where I will continue to exist. But then there's this doubt. And I realized the fear of death is not a fear of the unknown. It's a fear of leaving the known. Everything we've come to know, our bodies, our relationships, the world we've come to know. And so, for me, it was a long-standing question. And unknowingly, I carried this for years. I wanted a direct experience.